Hey guys, thanks for tuning in on my new tutorial for Absynth. First I'm gonna show you the sound we're gonna make, or we're gonna try to make. It sounds like this. So we have a drum loop, a bass. This is the drum loop by itself, a bass, and some weird glitchy sound that I don't think we're gonna make because I think it doesn't sound that great. But if we take a clean instance of Absynth and we turn the track on solo, we got just our plain sine wave, and I got a limiter after the Absynth, which I recommend if you're going to do sound design. And now the first thing I want to show you is that normally when you load a sample, in most cases you would go for a sample and you would pick something. Well, I'm not gonna pick something, but then in the second tab you got these mod functions, and you can say loop all, and then it's gonna loop the sample. But if you go to granular mode and you go to the mod page, you don't have the looping option. So I'm gonna show you a way to work around that. First I'm gonna pick a loop, and I want to choose a drum loop, and my tempo is set to 85 BPM, so I'm gonna choose a loop of 85 BPM, like this one, and then I put the start to 0. So it's gonna play, and it's gonna play once, and then it's gonna stop until the midi region loops again. And we don't want that. We want it to loop by itself and not having to listen to the midi notes. So the first thing you have to do is put the start of the envelope to 100, and that is a percentage. So now basically it starts at the end of the drum loop. That would seem kind of weird, but the thing is, in Absynth, when you assign an envelope to something, you have to give it the maximum amount to if this was set to 80, the envelope that I'm gonna assign to this would just go to 80% of the drum loop. So I have to set it to 100, and then we have to set the timing to 0 because we want to control that by the envelope. Now we right click this and we say create a new envelope, and then Absynth is pretty smart. It already knows what you're trying to do, so it has made this slope up envelope, and the only thing we have to do is put it on retrigger. I'm gonna drag the release stage to there. I'm gonna turn the grid on over here just to see what I'm doing. Alright, and then now if we play it, there we go, it keeps looping. And I should make this midi region exactly 2 bars. So that's cool, we've got the first thing done. And now we can go to the mod page and change a few things. For example, the density is the number of grains that are that it's using, and in most cases for percussive material it's better to have them set to just a few grains, and I think this is perfect. 4 is fine. Then we don't want random time we don't want a random amplitude and random frequency, so this is fine. And the size is more like the length of every grain in samples. So now it's at 4096, and that's fine for now. This costs you a lot more CPU if you drag it higher. So this is good. So now we got our drum loop. We can put it in stereo, and it's not sounding, probably not sounding as good as the original, but that's a bit of the advantage of Granular. But for my example, that doesn't really matter. So now what we can do is add a filter here, and we can do some filter modulation. Right click on the cutoff frequency, create a new envelope, and then we're gonna generate an AR pulse, and then we're gonna put it to retrigger. We can just mess with the slopes a little bit. And if we command click, I think, yeah, command click on a Mac, will probably be control on a PC. You can create new dots. So that's all fine. Now what I'd like to do is create a new envelope that's going to control the control this other envelope with the speed of the sample. And what I can do first is click here to make a new point, and then you see that now the line is a little bit curved, so I have to say this position to 0.5 again, because I want it to be exactly in the middle. Then I can select this point and then say control, and now we can control it with macro 1, and let's see if that works for us. Perform. It's not working yet, so I probably have to so now we can get kind of glitchy effects with these performance controls. And if we go to the envelopes again, I don't want it to be plus, I want it to be minus 100. So now I have some really cool effects, and if I turn my record enable here on, I can midi learn this with a controller. I say midi learn. Does it work? Or Ableton is not receiving midi. Let's try that again. There we go. Alright, so now I can scroll with my MIDI device through the envelope, and if we look at the envelope and we play the sound, that is what it's doing. And it's really great for live use, or just for getting ideas to for new songs. And then after that I'm gonna add a wave shaper, just to give it a little bit more punch. Yes, that's all pretty cool. And now I'm gonna take a new oscillator and give this beat sort of a bassline. So I'm gonna say double because I want to use two waveforms. And then the first one I'm gonna set to saw smooth. Turn this volume down a bit. Turn channel A off. And then the second, I might just leave that as a sine. Yes. Okay, and now what I want to do is no, I don't want to do that. I wanted to fade between the two oscillators, so between the two waveforms, and you can do that by picking an LFO here in the LFO section and set it to oscillator main morph. But I don't want to do that right now actually. So what I can do is assign a new envelope to this pitch, and then we're gonna loop it, and we're gonna sync it, and then we're gonna choose an envelope template like this sequence. There we go, and set this to 4 bars. I'm probably gonna use retrigger mode for now. And now we can make our melody here, and you can see the values here, so that's really handy. But first thing I'm gonna do before I even do this is pop a filter on that channel, once again modulate it with an envelope, and I'm gonna create an AR pulse, and it's set to beat duration is 0.5 and 1 is a whole note, so this is going to be an 8th note, and if I put this to 0.250 it's going to be a 16th note. You have to sync it first, loop it, and I'm gonna make the grid a little bit smaller. I'm gonna set it to 32nd notes so I can drag this out further. Why doesn't that work? Well, alright. This is fine for me. And now we can work on the melody again. So we go to oscillator B, mod pitch. It's a little bit too low for me, so I'm gonna go to the patch and set this to 0. Yeah, that's better. Yes, and you can hear it's only doing the it's only working on the pitch of the sine wave. So what we can do is let me do that again. I'm gonna make a new envelope, and I can say main pitch of oscillator B instead of the mod pitch, and then I can go to this envelope that I already made, and I can say edit, copy envelope, and then I go to the main pitch one, which is, where is it? I don't know what happened there. Okay, oscillator B, main pitch, create. There we go. Weird. And then paste that envelope over here. Sorry, paste that envelope over here. And now we can delete the mod pitch envelope. And you can also type in the values here, what I like to do. So you select the breakpoint that you want, and then in the transpose box you say the amount of semitones you want it to go up or down. So this is fine for me right now, and now I can turn on oscillator A again. So, and then just one simple quick sound here to give it a little bit of extra, because I like to layer a lot. And we can say create a new envelope on this pitch as well, and then for simplicity's sake I'm just gonna copy this envelope and paste it on the other one. Yes, paste. And I like that. And then I'm gonna choose a wave shaper again. Well, that's probably a little bit too extreme. The output, I'll turn it a little bit down. Alright, and then all that is left to do for now, because I think this tutorial is getting a bit long, is use an effect, and I think I'm gonna choose the etherizer. And what we can do is turn the feedback amount up to make it sound more like a reverb. So now it sounds like this. But if I turn the feedback amount up, it's gonna, the grains are gonna be close together and feeding back into themselves, and then you get this series of really dense delays, and that is exactly what a reverb is. And then we can transpose this whole effect by 12 semitones. And then we could even set the same envelope of the other oscillators to this transpose of the effect. But for now I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna say assign to macro 2, and then I'm gonna set the output to macro 3, and the say output, I mean the dry, and then I'm gonna set the wet to macro 4. So now if we go over to perform, yes, we have all our macros here, and I'm gonna midi learn all of them. Just click midi learn and then turn a knob on your MIDI controller. And now I think we can have some fun with this sound, because we also still have the drum loop MIDI learned. And this one, this one should be fun, the second envelope, or the second, because this is going to do the pitch transpose. So if we turn the drums off for a moment, and we turn the wet all the way up, perform, wet all the way up. So, and then if we go to the effects section again, and maybe we set this to a higher value. And you can see it transposing here. Let's go crazy. Okay, we can go more crazy than 2 octaves up, but that's fine for me. Then we can turn the surround on, spread out the position like that, and then drum loop up, the wet halfway there, transpose to max, and the dry there. And now you have a pretty fun sound to play around with. And if you tweak this some more and you're gonna go into the wave shape some more and just don't work as roughly as I just did, you can really make some great patches with these techniques. For example, the one that I have here. What's wrong with you, mister? I'll just load it up here. And open. Stuff like that. Yeah, so have fun with that and experiment with some of these techniques, and if you get some new ideas, let me know too. I always like to learn. Thanks for watching.